Origin Yoruba Ayepe. The tradition that gave the world Ashe. West Africa, beliefs, rituals, and traditions. The 256 Odu of Ifa contain the entire corpus of Yoruba wisdom on existence, destiny, healing, and right living. Ashe, the divine creative power, flows from here. The Orishas, forces of nature and dimensions of the divine, originate here. UNESCO recognized Ifa as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Haligricity references this tradition in every book. This is the source. Personal reading series में 2026 Haligricity to YouTube. Productions. Contents. Introduction. The most urgent gap. Why Yoruba comes first. Part 1. Who the Yoruba are, history, geography, and civilization. Part 2. Yoruba cosmology, Olorumeyer, Orun, and Aye. Part 3. Ashe, the divine creative power. Part 4. Ori, personal destiny and the inner divine. Part 5. The Orishas, divine forces and dimensions of the sacred. Part 6. Ishu Ilegba, guardian of the crossroads. Part 7. Ogun, Orisha of iron, labor, and sacred justice. Part 8. Shango, Orisha of thunder, lightning, and royal power. Part 9. Yemoja, Orisha of the great waters. Part 10. Oshun, Orisha of sweet water, love, and beauty. Part 11. Obatala, Orisha of creation and white cloth. Part 12. Orunmila Ifa, the witness of destiny. Part 13. Uya, Orisha of wind, change, and the threshold of death. Part 14. The Ifa divination system. Part 15. The 256 Odu, the sacred books of Ifa. Part 16. Initiation and the path of the Orishas. Part 17. Sacred ceremony, drumming, possession, and feast. Part 18. Ancestor veneration in Yoruba tradition. Part 19. Egungun, the ancestors made visible. Part 20. Yoruba healing, medicine, divination, and sacred herbs. Part 21. The diaspora, Candambal, Lucumai Santeria, Trinidad Orisha. Part 22. Haligricity convergences. Introduction. This is the most important deep dive in the entire personal reading series, not because the Yoruba tradition is more sacred than others, but because it is the most present in Haligricity and the most thoroughly unreferenced at its source. Ashe appears in every Haligric book, in the meal blessing, in the closing affirmations, in the sacred language practices. Its attribution is correct, Yoruba tradition of West Africa, Nigeria. But until now, the tradition that gave Haligricity this word has had no home in the library. That ends here. The Yoruba tradition, encompassing the theology of Olorumeyer, the Orishas, Ifa, and the entire sacred framework that has sustained hundreds of millions of people across West Africa and the African diaspora for thousands of years, is one of the most complete, most philosophically sophisticated, and most living sacred traditions on earth. UNESCO recognized Ifa as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008. The Yoruba diaspora has carried this tradition across the Atlantic Ocean through the horror of the Middle Passage, preserving it under the most extreme persecution imaginable, and the resulting diaspora traditions, Candambal in Brazil, Lucumai Santeria in Cuba and Puerto Rico, Trinidad Orisha, and many others, are among the most vital sacred systems in the contemporary world. This guide covers the complete tradition in depth, the cosmology, the Orishas in their full character, the Ifa divination system, the 256 Odu, initiation, ceremony, ancestor veneration, Egungun, healing, and the diaspora traditions. Read every word. This is where Ashe comes from. Who the Yoruba are history, geography, and civilization. The Yoruba are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, with approximately 40 to 50 million people in Nigeria alone and significant populations in Benin, Togo, Sierra Leone, and throughout the African diaspora. Their traditional homeland is in the southwestern portion of present-day Nigeria, a region of forest, savanna, and coastline that has been one of the most culturally productive areas in the history of sub-Saharan Africa. The great cities. The Yoruba are a historically urban people, one of the few African peoples who developed large, politically sophisticated city-states as their primary form of social organization before European contact. Ile-Ife is the sacred city, the city from which all Yoruba trace their origin, the place where the Orishas first came to earth, where Obatala and Oduduwa shaped the first land from the primordial waters. Every Yoruba dynasty traces its lineage to Ife. The city's Oni is the spiritual head of the Yoruba world, a figure of extraordinary sacred status whose palace and sacred groves contain some of the most important religious sites in West Africa. Oyo was the largest and most politically powerful of the Yoruba states. At its height in the 17th and 18th centuries, the Oyo Empire extended over much of present-day southwestern Nigeria and Benin, with a sophisticated governmental structure, a standing cavalry army, and a system of tributary relationships with neighboring peoples. The Oyo Empire was a context within which many of the most important ritual traditions of the Yoruba were consolidated and transmitted. Its eventual collapse in the early 19th century created the conditions for the slave trade's most devastating impact on Yoruba communities and for the subsequent dispersal of Yoruba tradition across the Atlantic. The Atlantic slave trade and the diaspora. The Yoruba were among the largest groups transported across the Atlantic in the slave trade, particularly in its later phases, when the collapse of the Oyo Empire produced enormous numbers of enslaved people from Yoruba communities. The enslaved Yoruba carried their cosmology, their knowledge of the Orishas, their Ifa divination tradition, and their sacred practices with them across the Middle Passage. Under the brutal conditions of New World slavery, which systematically attacked African sacred traditions as part of the project of dehumanization, the Yoruba tradition survived through specific strategies, syncretism with Catholic saints, secret transmission through initiated communities, and the extraordinary persistence of practitioners who refused to let the tradition die. Yoruba cosmology Olodumare, Orun, and Aye. Yoruba cosmology begins with Olodumare, the supreme being, the ultimate source of all existence, the Almighty whose name combines Olo with the concept of the eternal, the immense, and the complete. Olodumare is not one Orisha among others. The Orishas are Olodumare's intermediaries, specific manifestations of divine force in specific domains. Olodumare is the totality, present everywhere, governing everything, but too complete and too immense to be directly approached by finite beings in most circumstances. Orun and Aye, the two worlds. Yoruba cosmology organizes existence into two primary realms, Orun and Aye. These two realms are not fully separate, they interpenetrate, they communicate, and the relationship between them is the fundamental subject of Yoruba sacred practice. The Orishas move between Orun and Aye. The ancestors in Orun maintain active relationships with the living in Aye. Ifa divination opens communication between the two realms. The proper conduct of human life in Aye is sustained by ongoing attention to and proper relationship with Orun. The Nanotu Wantu Orishas. The Yoruba recognize 401 Orishas, a number that in Yoruba numerology represents completeness and infinity. In practice, the major Orishas worshipped in contemporary tradition number approximately 17 to 21. Each Orisha is a specific manifestation of Olodumare's power in a specific domain of reality, not separate gods competing for supremacy but complementary dimensions of a single divine reality, each expressing a specific quality of the divine nature in a specific arena of human and natural life. Connection to Haligricity. The Yoruba cosmology, Olodumare as the supreme source, the Orishas as specific manifestations of divine force in specific domains, the dual structure of Orun and Aye with ongoing communication between them, is the West African articulation of what Haligricity recognizes across traditions. The Hermetic as above, so below is the Western formulation of the Orun-Aye correspondence. The Chinese folk religion's celestial bureaucracy is the Chinese formulation of the same structure. The Bobo Bawa's three-realm cosmology is the West African Burkinabe formulation. The Yoruba formulation is specific to Haligricity because Ashe, the divine creative power that flows from Olodumare through the Orishas into all of creation, is the word that Haligricity uses in its sacred language practices. To know the source of that word is to understand what Haligricity is calling upon when it speaks it. Ashe, the divine creative power. Pronunciation and attribution. Ashe is pronounced Ashai. It is a word from the Yoruba tradition of West Africa, specifically Nigeria. Hali Sarah Parsons did not coin this word. It is used in Haligrisity with full attribution to its Yoruba source. Ashe is the most important concept in the Yoruba sacred tradition, the divine creative power that flows from Olodumare through the Orishas into all of creation, present in every living thing, every sacred act, and every moment of genuine alignment between the human and the divine. It is simultaneously a noun, a verb, and an affirmation. What Ashe actually is. Ashe is not merely a vague spiritual energy or a synonym for power. It is specifically the divine creative power, the force through which Olodumare created the cosmos and through which creation continues. It is the power that makes things real, that transforms potential into actuality, that causes what is spoken in sacred context to manifest in the physical world. Every being has some Ashe, the force of its own existence. Sacred practitioners, properly initiated and properly aligned, have developed and concentrated Ashe that exceeds the ordinary. The Orishas have Ashe in abundance. Their worship is partly the work of cultivating relationship with the sources of concentrated divine creative power. Ashe in sacred speech. The exclamation Ashe, pronounced with force and conviction at the end of prayers, blessings, and ceremonial declarations, is the affirmation that the creative power of the divine is present in the words just spoken, and that those words are therefore genuinely creative rather than merely expressive. When a Yoruba priest concludes a blessing with Ashe, the community responds with Ashe, affirming together that the sacred force has been invoked and is operating. When Haligrisity uses Ashe in the meal blessing, it is using the word in precisely this sense, the acknowledgement that the divine creative power is present and active in the sacred act being performed. Cultivating Ashe. Ashe is not a fixed quantity, it can be cultivated and increased through specific practices, through initiation into the Orisha path, through regular ritual observance, through ethical conduct aligned with one's Ori and one's head Orisha's character, through the development of sacred knowledge, and through the accumulated practice of living in alignment with the divine order. Ashe can also be dissipated through ethical violations, through neglect of ritual obligations, through arrogance that claims more sacred power than one actually possesses, and through the disruption of relationships with the Orishas and ancestors. Connection to Haligrisity. Ashe, the divine creative power flowing from Olodumare through the Orishas into all of creation, is already woven into the fabric of Haligrisity through the meal blessing and through the standing instruction that it is always attributed to Yoruba tradition of West Africa, Nigeria. This section provides the depth behind the word. When the Haligric practitioner speaks Ashe in the meal blessing, they are not using an exotic affirmation borrowed for its sound. They are invoking, by name, the specific divine creative power that the Yoruba tradition has recognized and worked with for thousands of years. The word carries the weight of that tradition. Knowing this tradition is knowing what the word actually calls upon. Ori, personal destiny, and the inner divine. One of the most sophisticated and most distinctive concepts in Yoruba sacred philosophy is Ori, literally the head, but in its theological depth, the concept of personal destiny, individual divine nature, and the sacred dimension of the self. Ori as personal divinity. In Yoruba cosmology, before a soul enters the physical world and birth, it stands before Olodumare and chooses its destiny, the specific life path, challenges, gifts, and purpose that will define its earthly existence. This chosen destiny is held in the Ori, the personal divinity that each human being carries within their own head. The Ori is not a metaphor for the subconscious or the higher self in the Western psychological sense. It is a genuine divine presence, specific to each individual, that can be communicated with, prayed to, and cultivated through specific practices. Ori is considered the most important Orisha for any individual, more important than any of the major Orishas, because it is the specific divine force that governs this particular person's destiny. The Orishas are divine forces of cosmic dimension. Ori is the divine force that is most intimately one's own, most precisely aligned with one's specific path in this life. Ori and free will. The Yoruba tradition's understanding of the relationship between destiny and free will is one of the most sophisticated in the global sacred tradition. The destiny chosen before birth is not absolutely fixed. It is a template, a trajectory, a set of potentials and challenges that the person's actual choices will navigate more or less successfully. The person who lives in alignment with their Ori, who makes choices consistent with their chosen destiny, who develops the gifts their Ori carries, who maintains proper relationship with their head Orisha and with Aifa, is more likely to fulfill their destiny's fullest potential. The person who lives in contradiction with their Ori, who makes choices that violate their destiny, who ignores the signs and guidance of Aifa, is more likely to experience the frustrations and failures that result from being out of alignment with one's own divine nature. Connection to Haligricity. The Yoruba concept of Ori, the personal divine nature that each individual carries within them, chosen before birth, that governs their specific destiny and path, is the West African articulation of what Haligricity holds about the individual's relationship to their own sacred nature. The Haligric understanding that the practitioner's path is not merely a set of external practices to be applied uniformly but a specific, personal, divinely inflected calling that requires ongoing attunement. This is the Ori teaching in Haligric form. The Aifa divination system exists partly to help practitioners understand their Ori more clearly, to see the specific nature of their chosen destiny and align their life choices accordingly. This is the deepest purpose of Haligric practice as well. The Orishas, divine forces and dimensions of the sacred. The Orishas are the divine forces through which Olorumere's power operates in specific domains of reality. They are not gods in the Western polytheistic sense, separate deities with independent existences competing for territory and worshippers. They are specific manifestations of a single divine power, each expressing a specific quality or domain of that power with extraordinary specificity and richness. Each Orisha has a specific domain of nature and human life over which they preside, specific colors, numbers, days, and materials associated with them, specific foods and offerings that they favor, specific songs, rhythms, and dances that call and honor them, specific Oru in the Aifa corpus that contain their stories, teachings, and the sacred knowledge about their nature, and specific character traits. The Orisha's personality is as specific and complex as a human being's, with both capacities and challenges, both blessings and tests. What follows are the major Orishas in their full character, not as symbols but as living divine presences with specific personalities, specific gifts, and specific relationships to the human beings who work with them. The Aifa divination system. Aifa is the most sophisticated divination system in the world, a body of sacred knowledge so vast, so precisely organized, and so practically effective that UNESCO recognized it as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008. It is simultaneously a divination system, a philosophical corpus, a medical system, and a system of ethical guidance. The Bablavo, father of secrets. The Aifa divination practitioner is the Bablavo. The Bablavo undergoes years of training in the memorization and application of the 256 Sodu and their thousands of essay, in the manipulation of the divination instruments, and in the ritual knowledge required to interpret and prescribe for the full range of human situations that divination addresses. The training is rigorous, demanding, and takes place within a lineage of transmission. Each Bablavo learns from a qualified teacher who learned from a qualified teacher, in an unbroken chain that the tradition understands as reaching back to Orunmila himself. The divination process. Aifa divination is performed through two primary instruments. The Aikin are manipulated in the Bablavo's hands. The number of nuts remaining in one hand after the manipulation determines a single mark on the divination tray. 8 manipulations produce 8 marks, a pair of 4-mark columns, that together constitute one of the 256 Odu. The opal is a faster alternative, thrown like a string, each pot falling face up or face down to produce the same 8-mark pattern. Either way, the result is a specific Oru, a specific body of sacred knowledge that Orunmila has indicated as relevant to the querent's situation. Once the Odu is identified, the Bablavo recites the relevant essay Aifa, specific verses from the oral corpus associated with that Odu, that address the querent's specific situation. The essay are interpreted through the lens of the querent's specific question, life situation, and the other Oru markers that appear in the divination. The Bablavo then prescribes specific abo to be made to specific orishas and may prescribe specific herbal preparations, ritual baths, lifestyle modifications, or ceremonial actions to address the specific challenge or question the querent has brought. The 256 Soru, the sacred books of Ifa. The 256 Soru of Ifa are the sacred books of the Yoruba tradition, not written books but bodies of sacred knowledge, each of which contains thousands of essays addressing every conceivable dimension of human life. The Oru are not merely a divination reference system, they are the complete corpus of Yoruba wisdom on existence, destiny, healing, ethics, history, cosmology, herbalism, and the nature of the divine. The structure of the 256. The 256 Oru are generated from the 16 primary Oru, Ogbe, Oyeku, Ivory, Odi, Irosin, Ovonran, Obra, Okanar, Ogunda, Osa, Ika, Oturupon, Otura, Irit, Os, and Ofu. Each of these 16 Oru combined with each of the 16 produces 256 combinations, each a distinct Oru with its own specific character, its own specific body of knowledge, and its own specific prescriptions. The 16 primary Oru. The 16 primary Oru each have distinct personalities and domains. Ogbe is the Oru of light, beginning, and the highest potential. Oyeku is the Oru of death, endings, and the transformative power of darkness. Ivory is the Oru of inner vision, the heart, and the wisdom of self-knowledge. Odi is the Oru of the womb, of mystery, of what is hidden within. Each Oru is a complete world of knowledge. A practitioner who has mastered even a single Oru in depth has access to extraordinary wisdom about the specific domain of human life that Oru governs. The Essay Ifa, sacred verses. Each Oru contains hundreds or thousands of essay, specific verses, stories, and teachings that are the content of the Oru's knowledge. The essay are poetic narratives. They tell of the Orishas, the ancestors, and historical and mythological figures who faced specific challenges and how they resolved them through proper relationship with Ifa, proper abo, and proper alignment with the divine order. The essay are not merely stories, they are prescriptive teachings. This is what happened when someone in a situation like yours consulted Ifa. This is what Ifa prescribed, and this is what resulted when they followed or failed to follow the prescription. Connection to Haligricity. The 256 Oru of Ifa, the complete oral corpus of Yoruba sacred knowledge, organized into a system of extraordinary precision and depth, is the West African parallel to the most comprehensive sacred knowledge traditions in the world, the I Ching's 64 hexagrams, the Tarot's 78 cards, and the Hermetic tradition's systematic synthesis of universal knowledge. The Ifa corpus, however, is the most extensive of these systems. Its full oral body is estimated in the hundreds of thousands of verses, making it one of the largest oral literary traditions in human history. UNESCO's recognition of Ifa as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008 reflects this extraordinary depth. Initiation and the path of the Orishas. Initiation in the Yoruba Orisha tradition is the formal process through which a person moves from the status of a person with a general relationship to the Orisha world into the status of an Orisha devotee with a specific, formal, ritual relationship to a specific Orisha, their head Orisha, the Orisha who governs their Ori and whose character is most aligned with their personal destiny. Determining the head Orisha. The process typically begins with Ifa divination consulting a qualified Bablavo to determine which Orisha governs the person's Uri and what specific obligations and practices their path requires. The head Orisha is not chosen by personal preference, it is determined by the divination, which reveals what has been true since the person's Uri chose its destiny before birth. A person may feel strong affinity for a specific Orisha, and that affinity may well reflect their actual head Orisha, but the divination confirms and specifies what preference alone cannot. The initiation ceremony. Formal initiation. The making of the Orisha is an intensive, multi-day ceremony in which the initiate undergoes a ritual death and rebirth, the death of the uninitiated self and the birth of the initiated person whose head has been formally opened to receive their Orisha. The ceremony involves specific sacred baths, the preparation of the sacred objects, specific clothing, specific foods, and the performance of specific Orisha songs and dances that invoke the Orisha's presence to take up residence in the properly prepared initiate. After initiation, the new Orisha devotee spends a period of approximately 1 year in a specifically restricted state, wearing white, avoiding specific foods, maintaining specific behavioral protocols, and deepening their relationship with their head Orisha through daily prayer, offering, and the gradual development of the specific knowledge that their Orisha path requires. This year is understood as the period of becoming the time during which the initiate grows into their new sacred identity. Sacred ceremony drumming, possession, and the feast. Yoruba sacred ceremony, the Bata drum ceremony that calls the Orishas, the sacred songs that honor and invoke each Orisha in sequence, the offering of food and the communal feast, and the possession of initiated devotees by their Orishas is one of the most complete and most moving sacred ritual experiences in the world. Nothing in the description is adequate to the reality of a well-conducted Orisha ceremony. This section provides the framework within which the reality can be understood. The Bata drums. The Bata drums, three double-headed drums of specific sizes and timbers, are the sacred instruments of Orisha ceremony. They are not merely musical instruments. Each Bata is a sacred vessel, initiated in its own right, carrying the presence of the Orisha whose rhythms it plays. The Bata speak the sacred language of each Orisha, specific rhythmic patterns associated with specific Orishas, and when the correct talk for a specific Orisha is played at the correct moment in the ceremony, the Orisha may respond by descending into the body of an initiated devotee who is their vessel. Orisha possession. The Orisha rides. When an Orisha descends into the body of an initiated devotee, the devotee is said to be ridden by the Orisha, a metaphor that captures the relationship. The Orisha is the rider, the devotee is the horse. The devotee's ordinary personality is temporarily set aside, and the Orisha's personality, power, and presence fully inhabit the body. The Orisha in manifestation behaves in character. Shango is regal and powerful, Oshun is sensuous and joyful, Ogun is fierce and direct, Obatala is stately and serene. The community interacts with the manifested Orisha, receiving blessings, asking for guidance, making petitions, understanding that they are in the direct presence of the divine force. The possessing Orisha may speak prophecy, prescribe healing, correct misalignment in the community's relationship with the sacred order, and bless the gathered community with the specific gifts of their domain. When the ceremony is complete, the Orisha departs and the devotee gradually returns to their ordinary consciousness, often with no memory of what occurred during the possession, which is understood as evidence of the complete nature of the divine takeover. The feast. Every major Orisha ceremony includes the preparation and sharing of specific foods that the Orisha loves, offered first to the Orisha and then shared among the community. Oshun receives honey and yellow foods, Shango receives spicy foods and pounded yam, Ogun receives palm oil and roasted meats, Obatala receives white food, white beans, coconut, shea butter. The community feasting together on the Orisha's food is a communion, a shared participation in the sacred force of the Orisha through the medium of the foods associated with them. Connection to haligricity. The Yoruba Orisha ceremony, with its specific drumming that calls specific divine presences, its possession of initiated devotees by the Orishas who ride them as vehicles of divine force, and its communal feast that shares the Orisha's sacred food is the West African articulation of everything that haligricity holds about sacred ceremony. The haligric ceremony's opening of sacred space, its invocation of specific sacred presences, its offering of food and blessing, and its communal sharing all resonate directly with the Yoruba ceremony. The concept of the Orisha riding an initiated devotee is also the most complete articulation of the practitioner as sacred vehicle principle that haligricity recognizes across traditions, from the Bobo Bava mask performer to the W spirit medium to the Byzantine hesychast who becomes a vehicle for the uncreated light. In the Yoruba tradition, this principle is enacted communally, repeatedly, and with extraordinary specificity. Catch Orisha manifesting in the body of their specific devotee, each with their own character, their own gifts, their own way of being present. Ancestor veneration in Yoruba tradition. Ancestor veneration is the foundation of all Yoruba sacred practice, the recognition that the dead are not gone but transformed, that they remain active participants in the life of the family and community, and that the proper maintenance of the relationship with the ancestors is essential to the living community's vitality, prosperity, and sacred integrity. The ancestral community. The Yoruba understand the ancestral community as an extension of the living community present in Orun, but intimately connected to the living in Aye through ongoing ritual relationship. The ancestors maintain active interest in their descendants' welfare. They can offer protection, guidance, and blessing to those who maintain the relationship properly, and they can withdraw support from those who neglect or disrespect them. The Ancestor Shrine. The ancestor shrine in Yoruba tradition occupies a specific place of honor in the compound or homion altar with the images or symbolic objects of specific ancestors, before which regular offerings are made, food, water, palm wine, and in significant moments the blood of sacrificed animals. The regular pouring of libations, the controlled dripping of water or alcohol on the ground while calling the ancestors' names is the most accessible and most frequently performed ancestral practice. A daily or weekly acknowledgement that the ancestors are present, that they are honored, and that their blessing is sought. Egungun, the ancestors made visible. The Egungun tradition, the masquerade tradition through which the ancestors become visibly present in the community, is one of the most important and most dramatically powerful elements of Yoruba's sacred life. Like the Bobo Bava masquerade tradition, the Egungun masquerade is not theatrical performance, it is the genuine, physical manifestation of the ancestral community in the living world. The Egungun masquerade. The Egungun masquerade consists of elaborately costumed performers, their entire bodies covered in layers of fabric that completely conceal their human identity, who embody specific ancestors in the community's history. The costume is itself a sacred object. It has been ritually prepared and activated to serve as the material vehicle for the ancestors' presence, just as the Bobo Bava mask is ritually activated to serve as the vehicle for DWO. When the Egungun masquerade appears in the community, the ancestor is present, not the costume, not the performer, but the ancestor themselves. The community interacts with the Egungun with the respect and specific protocols appropriate for interaction with a powerful, potentially unpredictable ancestral presence. The Egungun may deliver messages from the ancestral world, may bless specific community members, may adjudicate disputes by invoking ancestral authority, and may demand specific ritual responses from the community. After the ceremony, the Egungun returns to the ancestral world, the costume is returned to its sacred storage, the performer's identity remains secret, and the boundary between the living and the dead is maintained once more. Connection to Haligricity. The Egungun tradition, the ancestors made physically, visibly present in the community through the properly prepared, properly activated masquerade is the most complete West African parallel to the Haligric ancestor altar practice. Where the ancestor altar works through object-mediated presence, the Egungun works through body-mediated presence. Both rest on the same foundational recognition: the ancestors are real, they are present, they can manifest in the physical world through properly prepared material vehicles, and the community's relationship with them is a genuine two-way relationship that requires active, reciprocal maintenance. Yoruba healing medicine, divination, and sacred herbs. Yoruba healing is a complete system that addresses the full spectrum of human illness: physical, psychological, social, and spiritual through an integrated combination of herbal medicine, Ifa divination, ritual prescription, and community care. Osan the Orisha of herbs. Osan is the Orisha of wild herbs and medicinal plants, the divine force that governs the healing power of the natural world. The herbalist who works with Yoruba medicinal plants works under Osan's guidance, preparing specific plant combinations for specific conditions according to knowledge transmitted through training and divination. Every plant has its own spiritual character, its own Orisha associations, and its own specific healing properties. The preparation of herbal medicine is itself a ritual process. The plants must be addressed with specific invocations, gathered at specific times, and prepared through specific procedures that activate their spiritual as well as their physical healing properties. The spiritual dimension of illness. In Yoruba healing, illness is understood to have both physical and spiritual dimensions, and effective treatment must address both. The Ifa divination consultation is typically the first step in addressing serious illness, The Bablavo identifies the spiritual dimension of the condition and prescribes the specific ritual interventions required alongside any physical treatments. The Diaspora Candomble, Lucumai Santeria, and Trinidad Orisha. The Yoruba tradition crossed the Atlantic through the horror of the Middle Passage carried by enslaved people who refused to let the sacred tradition die, even under the most extreme conditions of dehumanization ever inflicted on a people. What emerged in the New World is not a degraded or diluted form of the original tradition, it is a tradition transformed, adapted, and in some ways deepened by the extraordinary conditions of survival under slavery. Candomble, Brazil. Candomble is the primary Brazilian expression of the Orisha tradition. Concentrated in Bahia in northeastern Brazil, the point of densest African cultural retention in the Americas, Candomble maintains the full structure of Orisha worship, the bata drums, the sacred songs in Yoruba, the Orisha possession, the initiation system, and the Ifa divination. Candomble's terreiros are among the most important sacred sites in Brazil, centers of cultural memory, community resilience, and living sacred practice that have sustained Afro-Brazilian communities through centuries of persecution. Lucumai Santeria, Cuba, and the Caribbean. In Cuba, the Orisha tradition survived through a specific syncretic strategy, the identification of Orishas with Catholic saints, allowing practitioners to maintain their sacred practice under the guise of Catholic devotion. Shango was identified with Saint Barbara. Oshun with Our Lady of Charity. Yemoja with Our Lady of Regla. Ishu with Saint Anthony. This syncretism was not a betrayal of the tradition, it was a survival strategy of extraordinary ingenuity. The Catholic overlay was the protective covering under which the African core was maintained. Contemporary Lucumai maintains both the original Yoruba elements and the syncretic Catholic forms, understood by practitioners as complementary dimensions of a single tradition. Trinidad Orisha and the global tradition. Trinidad's Orisha tradition similarly maintained Yoruba practice through a period of severe persecution. Today, the global Orisha community, connected through lineage, ceremony, and digital networks, constitutes one of the most rapidly growing sacred traditions in the world. Practitioners from Nigeria, Brazil, Cuba, Trinidad, the United States, Europe, and beyond are in active conversation about the tradition's future, its relationship to its African roots, and the specific forms through which it will be transmitted to the next generation. Haligricity convergences. Ashe already in Haligricity, now at its source. Ashe has been in Haligricity from the beginning, in the meal blessing, in the sacred language practices, in the closing affirmations. This guide provides what was always necessary, the full depth of the tradition from which that word comes. The Haligric practitioner who speaks Ashe now knows they are invoking the specific divine creative power that the Yoruba tradition has worked with for thousands of years, the force through which Olorunmere created the cosmos, the force that flows through the Orishas into all of creation, the force that makes sacred speech genuinely creative rather than merely expressive. The word is now complete because its source is known. Uri and personal destiny. The Yoruba concept of Uri, the personal divinity within each human being, chosen before birth, governing the specific destiny and path of this specific life, is the West African articulation of what Haligricity holds about the practitioner's relationship to their own sacred nature. The Tetralty's insistence that alignment between feeling, thinking, speaking, and doing is not a generic achievement but a specific one specific to this person, this life, this path is the Haligric formulation of what Uri names. You are not trying to align with the universal standard. You are trying to align with the specific nature that your Uri has chosen. Ifa divination is the technology for understanding that specific nature. Haligric practice is the daily cultivation of alignment with it. The Orisha as dimensions of the divine. The Yoruba understanding that the Orishas are not separate gods competing for supremacy but specific dimensions of a single divine power, each expressing one quality or domain of Olorunmere's complete nature, is the West African articulation of what Haligricity holds about the divine. The sacred is not a single, undifferentiated force that the practitioner relates to in general. It is a living reality with specific expressions, specific characters, specific ways of operating in specific domains of life. Shango in the domain of justice and power. Oshun in the domain of love and beauty. Ogun in the domain of honest labor and sacred tools. Uya in the domain of transformation and threshold. Working with the Orishas is working with the divine in its full specificity, which is what every Haligric practice does. The ceremony as complete sacred practice. The Yoruba Orisha ceremony drumming, sacred song, possession, communal feast is the most complete ancient expression in West Africa of what Haligricity holds about sacred ceremony. All the elements are present: the opening invocation, the specific calling of specific sacred presences, the physical manifestation of the divine in the prepared human vessel, the offering and communal sharing, and the formal closing. The Haligric ceremonies in the rituals book are organized around the same principles, and the Yoruba tradition confirms that these principles are not Haligric inventions but the most ancient understanding of how sacred ceremony works when it works. Egungun and the ancestor altar. The Egungun tradition, the ancestors made physically present in the community through the properly activated masquerade, is the most complete West African articulation of the recognition on which the Haligric ancestor altar practice rests. The ancestors are real. They can be present. They manifest through properly prepared vehicles. The relationship is two-way and requires active, reciprocal maintenance. The Haligric ancestor altar enacts in domestic, individual form what the Egungun enacts in communal, massed form. The same theological recognition underlies both. The diaspora as sacred resilience. The survival of the Yoruba tradition through the Middle Passage, through slavery, through forced religious oppression, through the most systematic attempt in history to destroy an African people's sacred identity, and its emergence in the New World as Candomble, Lucumai, and Trinidad Orisha is the most powerful testimony in the global sacred tradition to what the tradition calls on practitioners to trust, that the sacred, when it is genuinely the sacred and not merely a human construction, cannot ultimately be destroyed. It goes underground. It wears different names. It finds different forms. But it lives. The Haligric practitioner who faces discouragement or opposition in their practice has this testimony: the tradition that gave us Ashe survived the Middle Passage. Sacred knowledge is more resilient than the powers that try to suppress it. Ashe O. Ashe O. Ashe. Yoruba ceremonial animation. The divine creative power flows. It has always flowed. Through Olorunmare into the cosmos, through the Orishas into the domains of nature and human life, through properly initiated and properly aligned human beings into their communities and their work. Ashe is not a word to be repeated casually. It is an acknowledgement that the sacred creative force is present and active in this meal, in this ceremony, in this moment of aligned human intention. Now that the source is known, the word carries its full weight. Ashe O. Grand Rising. Personal Reading Series, Holgricity 11 Q. Productions, May 2026.